All right, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Welcome members of council, members of the public that are in the audience, members of our staff. We appreciate you all joining us here for the regular council meeting of Clearview Township Council for Monday, March the 24th, 2025. I can't believe March is almost over. How time flies. We have a regular meeting with a pretty full agenda. Just to advise, we did start our meeting, or we did not have a closed session at the beginning of our meeting. And so we are starting right at 5:30 with item number 2. And the first thing I will do is I would like to begin our meeting by recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Tiahuanacoa, the Wendat, and is the home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships, and we ask the Creator for guidance in all that we do. As always, it's my honor and privilege to say the land acknowledgement on behalf of the township, and I do so voluntarily and happily. Council, we will move directly to item number 2 on our agenda, which is the approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the agenda dated March the 24th, 2025, as presented. Mr. Beelan, thank you. Mr. Walker, thank you. Any questions on the agenda? All right, just before we vote, I just want to acknowledge there was an amendment that was added and published as part of the package of an item. It was put on the website, and it's just a small change that happened to one of the items, so it is included in the most recent version online. If there's no further questions, I'll call a motion. All those in favor? Carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Council, we'll move on to item number 3, declarations of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. If anybody has any declarations of any items, members, seeing none, if anything comes up during the meeting, please bring it forward. At this time, we'll move to item number 4, our public participation period. We do have people in the audience, so I'll read the full script. Be advised that the comments and views expressed under public participation period are not the views of the Township of Clearview Council or the administration. Public participation is limited to 15 minutes. Each person is limited to 5 minutes, and questions or comments are to be directed to the mayor or the chair. So I'm the mayor and the chair. And questions shall not refer to personnel matters, litigation, or potential litigation, or planning matters that have already had a public meeting, or any item considered confidential. So at this time, I'll open up the floor to members of the public. If there's anybody from the public who wish to come forward and speak in regards to public participation period. Nothing, gentlemen? Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you the opportunity anyway. Thank you very much. We do have, I believe, through our deputy clerk. Deputy clerk, did we receive some electronic participations?
Thank you. Yes, Your Worship. We received 6 online submissions this week, and they've been provided to you at your desk.
That's correct. I have six. Count them, Council. We'll start with number 1. Number 1. This one comes from Mr. Dave Witzka. And it says here, as per section 10 of the March 24th agenda on remuneration, why the huge disparity in auto allowance from the flat $1,200 per councillor to $3,000 for the mayor, and how are these numbers calculated? Mr. Witzka, a resolution was passed by this council back in January, I believe. I think it's on the report, January 29th. The resolution is a bylaw. It's bylaw 24-101. Sorry, 010. It's bylaw 1010. And you can refer to that bylaw to see all the information you like. And that was a debate that was brought forward by council at this time to apply the auto allowances to the council remuneration. Number 2, also from Mr. Dave Witzka. As per section 10 of the March 24 council agenda on remuneration, what is the breakdown of other expenses per councillor? The other expenses falls underneath the category of conferences and or training sessions. Some councillors attend conferences, some councillors do not, and some councillors have expenses while at training sessions or conferences. Some councillors do. It's up to each individual councillor. There is a budget set aside for all of council, and as per the report, if you looked at the report, you would see all that information in the report that's included on this agenda item. Item number 3. This one comes from Mr. Dave Witzka. As per the March 24 posted agenda under section 10 regarding remuneration, why is there a huge span in benefits and what are these benefits? Further, Mr. Witzka, again, bylaw number 24010 has all of this information listed on it very clearly. The benefits, of course, are health benefits that are provided to, as I clarified today, they're similar to those that the staff receive. They're not exactly the same, but they're very similar to what the staff receive. Members of council have the option to opt into the benefit plan or not. And so some members are in the benefit plan and some members are not. It's an individual's choice from council. And as confirmed to me also this afternoon when I spoke to our treasurer, it's also up to individual staff if they wish to participate in it as well. There are some mandatory benefits such as the life insurance policies and those type of things that are part of the regular benefit package that we have for all of our employees. But the information regarding this report is for remuneration, and it does cover what the benefits are in the bylaw. Item number 4. Also from Mr. Dave Witzka, a question. As per the March 24 agenda under statement of remuneration, in the Clearview Committee of Adjustment, why is there a huge disparity in remuneration expenses for the 5 members? Well, the Committee of Adjustment is one of our committees. It's a mandatory committee, and that committee does have expenses. Members of the committee can attend meetings, as in out of town meetings for training purposes or courses. There was at one time a conference that they would attend, but I don't think that conference has been held for many years. So they are actually remunerated based on their attendance at meetings. And so if some members attend all the meetings, they receive a different level of pay than perhaps someone who only attends 1 or 2 meetings. That's covered again underneath the bylaw. I wasn't able to find it because the committee's been around for so long that this question should have been answered and understood many, many moons ago. Looking at item number 5, Mr. Dave Witzka asking another question. This one's not related to the previous 4 items. This says Sunday, March 16th, there was a flood event at the Centennial Park due to the part of blockage of the underside of the 2 bridges and the concrete railway duct. First of all, that statement is correct because water flows under the bridges. And so that's where the blockages would be on the underside, wouldn't they? Subsequently, there was an erosion to the gravel of the path on both sides of the blue pedestrian bridge. And he also goes on to say that as of the morning of the 20th, there's been no action to make the bridge safe for school kids and et cetera. What is this priority? So I've taken the liberty to ask our Director of Recreation Services, Mr. Vachon, if he would jump in and give us a quick update as to how we do maintenance and maintaining and monitoring these facilities in the winter months. Mr. Vachon, are you on board? Hello there, Terry.
Hello, Your Worship. Good evening, Council. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So yeah, thank you for the question. Our staff normally starts working in our parks middle of April. We have temporarily blocked off the 1 bridge. As Mr. Witzka is correct, the trail has eroded off to the side, and trail maintenance is usually done by one of our contractors. As soon as he can get his equipment in there, we will attempt to get that trail repaired, as well as clean the park as soon as we possibly can. Again, our maintenance staff right now are still in the arenas, and we're hoping to have them in our parks middle of April.
All right, thanks very much, Terry. Terry, good luck with that, and I'm glad you don't bring the heavy equipment in during this wet season because you can cause more damage trying to fix it than the problem is. So thank you very much for that. Number 6, Council, we have another submission by Mr. Dave Witzka. And it says here, the bids for the Klondike Park Waterline and Pump House were opened on March 13th. First of all, that's false. When might the bidding figures be posted? There are no bidding figures to be posted, Mr. Witzka. The bids for the Klondike Park Waterline and Pump House were not opened on March 13th. In fact, we haven't even done an RFP on them yet. That is yet to happen. What did occur on March the 13th was the pre-qualifications for contractors that are, to meet the pre-qualifications of our engineering standards here at Clearview to submit their bids. So we put out a call to contractors to submit their pre-qualifications, and they'll be considered at the time when the RFP does go out. So I would ask you to take a closer look at these things when you're asking these type of questions. The figures will, of course, always be released once an RFP has been sealed and accepted. Thank you very much. Okay, there's our public participation period in written form. Yeah, quite a disparity in the number of written forms versus those that appear in public, I would always suggest. But anyway, thank you. We're going to move on to delegations and presentations. Item number 5. Mr. John Miller's here. John, oh, there you are. You're hiding back there. I see you. John's here, and he is the Executive Director of Water First Training and Education. And John, welcome to the microphone. Come right up to the podium. Is it microphone on? You might have to press that little button to make sure it comes to life. Go ahead.
Oh, I think we're working.
You're working fine.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
It's good to see you again, and welcome.
Likewise, Your Worship and Deputy Mayor, councillors, thank you so much for your time and for having me in. So I'm here on behalf of Water First. It's a charity based out of Creemore, and we are requesting a break or an exemption on development charges in relation to an equipment building that we are hoping to build next door. We own a property in Creemore where our operations are based out of, and just next door there's an empty lot. And what we're really trying to do is we're responding to very significant demand for our services that exist from coast to coast to coast in across Canada. We focus exclusively on supporting Indigenous communities with water challenges, and we do so via education and training programs that we run in partnership with communities. So we've partnered with well over 90 Indigenous communities now from coast to coast to coast. Don't need to name all the different provinces and territories there, but there's quite a few. We're in discussions right now as well with 30 additional Indigenous communities on a variety of different education and training projects with respect to water science. Next slide. I'll just speak briefly on the high notes here are that we have a focus on youth and young adults, not exclusively young adults, but sometimes we're training someone who's in their 40s who's looking for a career change. But ultimately, capacity development, education and training is our focus. We don't work in a water treatment plant, for instance, in an Indigenous community and focus on the infrastructure. We're not pulling out a faulty pump or a filtration system or something like that. We focus on the people who are ultimately running and maintaining the water treatment plants. Next slide, please. This is a bit on how we work. Trust building, meaningful partnerships, and lasting results really guides all of our interactions as an organization with the Indigenous communities that we're partnering with. Next, please. And we actually got started, it's not that well known, but we got started in Uganda. We were bringing water systems to a variety of different rural communities there. And next, please. There's a whole bunch, dozens of great organizations. May that work continue. These are just water organizations that are Canadian that are and were working with communities abroad. And next slide, please. We then discovered as we were being asked, well, why are we going all the way to Uganda to find water challenges to address when so many Indigenous communities in Canada can't drink their tap water? We were asked why was that the case? So we started to do some work, and we realized that finding other charities working with Indigenous communities in Canada on water issues was very much like finding a needle in a haystack. It is a very uncrowded space in which we work. Next slide, please. And so a bit about who we are as an organization. Next, please. I think we're starting with Polly Bobby-Wash. That's right. So Polly's the Director of Labour Market Development at the Anishinaabe Nation. The Anishinaabe Nation has 39 member communities, including a variety of First Nations that are in our neck of the woods, from Beausoleil on Christian Island to Rama, Georgina Island, and so on. Just 39 member communities, and she's a key board member. Next, please. Tazel Lawrence, she lives in Duntroon. She's a film producer and helps us with a lot of our sort of public facing pieces that we do as an organization. Next, please. Gary Pritchard, he's an aquatic ecologist. He's from Curb Lake First Nation, lives in Barrie. Next, please. Sue Chiblo, she's a prof at the University of Guelph. She's from Garden River First Nation, and she's a member of our Indigenous Advisory Council. Next, please. Brenda lives in Creemore, runs our website. She's done that for 6 or 7 years. Next slide. And Dylan, who's out of Collingwood, runs our school engagement programs. Next up. So our 3 program areas, next slide, please. We have a focus, drinking water we're best known for, certainly our flagship program. Environmental water is another big piece of what we do in our schools program as well. And next slide. I'll be pretty brief about the environmental and school water programs. So for environmental water, the focus is on lakes and rivers in and around Indigenous communities and helping to train local individuals on the water science skills related to that. And of course, there's a relationship with lakes and rivers and source water. So where does the drinking water for a community come from? It's often coming from source water like a lake or a river. Next slide, please. The school program, we're getting out into the field wherever we can, out of the classroom. Really, the purpose of the school program is to shine a spotlight on the pathways to a career in a local First Nation Indigenous community at the water plant or in the Lands and Resources Office, which is typically the office that manages environmental water resources. And next slide, please. So our drinking water internship, you could go to the next slide, and actually you can sort of just keep going through the next group shot. So each of the individuals here is a participant in the program that's working out of their home community's water treatment plant. And so the big nature of the program and a big part of the puzzle here is that it's kind of the untold story in a lot of Indigenous communities, and in the bigger picture of water challenges in Indigenous communities across Canada is that, yes, there's a huge infrastructure challenge that needs to be addressed. And pause there, thank you. And at the same time, there aren't enough people to run water treatment plants. There aren't enough trained individuals. And that's the biggest part of the equation that we're focused on, and it's why it's education and training in particular. Yes, we need functioning water treatment plants and infrastructure to reliably produce clean, safe drinking water. But those water plants are run by people, and there just simply aren't enough operators in far too many Indigenous communities. Next slide, please. So the purpose of this program is to help our communities meet that demand. It's to help the communities identify typically young folks who might want to get into the field, and to help those individuals achieve their entry-level certifications so that they're certified drinking water operators. Next slide, please. So the way that it works is the interns from a variety of different communities, we'll work with groups just for economies of scale. Interns from a variety of communities will join our trainers and at a central location, and they're learning about all sorts of different water science concepts at a centralized spot. And then next slide, please. They return to their home community's water treatment plants, where they spend most of their time over a 15-month period of time. So 15 months and about 1,800 hours are aligned, and that's a big part of the becoming a level 1 operator. Next slide. So there's a huge chance for employability, and what we rely a lot on is just the market forces. Again, there's a massive demand for water science skills in Indigenous communities, and there aren't, unfortunately, there isn't enough of a supply with certified individuals that have a water science background. So there are very significant employment opportunities at the conclusion of the program. Next slide, please. Ton of community benefits. It's a part of why the program is going well, from employment to very strong student retention, and again, a lot of work. Often, some of the participants are employed before they're done the program, because there again is such a strong demand for their skills. Next slide, please. 54 interns to date from 44 Indigenous communities. Just a month or so ago, we onboarded the 50th Indigenous community to the drinking water program. And that number I just read today needs to be updated. We're close to 150,000 hours of training in water treatment plants in Indigenous communities from coast to coast to coast. And in a very male-dominated field, we're seeing about 40% of the interns that we're recruiting to the field are female. Next slide, please. So what we're trying to do moving forward is we're trying to scale up. As I mentioned earlier, for whatever reason, this is a very uncrowded space, yet the demand for this program is through the roof. It has something to do with why we're, as an organization, we're 22 times larger by revenues than we were 8 years ago. The phone is ringing off the hook, and we only have so much resources to respond to that demand. But there's a huge demand and has a lot to do with our growth. We are attempting to build an equipment management hub. Next slide, please. And this is again, it's on the empty lot that is beside us at our Creemore location. The idea is to help respond to the very significant demand, to help us gain some efficiencies, because we're currently in the Creemore Brewery used to store its kegs in our current, this kind of like little lean-to structure at the back of the building. We're running our equipment management out of that, and a sea can and a couple of sheds and so on. So it's not as efficient as it could be. And next slide, please. There's a handful of pieces of the puzzle here in terms of who we are as an organization and how we engage with the community. So of course, it is up to council and your discretion about the extent to which, if any, there is a break or an exemption on development charges. We have well over 50 employees at the organization now. There's about last number I heard was 54. About a dozen local contractor relationships and about 25 local individuals who are employed by the organization. And of course, when staff come to the community of Creemore, they're in the grocery store, the coffee shops, the restaurants. We have a small fleet of vehicles that are serviced by local mechanics. And I think the last time we ran into Mayor Measures, we were at the local hall in Ottawa, which we often rent a different local hall for when we have all staff gatherings. Our employees from multiple provinces coming and gathering here. We'll be very fortunate. So we kind of put Creemore on the map in whatever ways that we can as well. In that Ryan Reynolds has been a supporter for the last couple of years, which has been incredible. And Bob Ray, who's Canada's ambassador to the UN, has been an advisor and supporter over the last few years as well. And then more recently, and some of you may have heard that Geoffrey Hinton, who's the so-called godfather of AI, he won the Nobel Prize and donated half of his proceeds to Water First. And every time there's a interview on the CBC, it's Water First from Creemore, a variety of different newspaper articles that from coast to coast to coast, there was a ton of coverage, particularly with the Nobel Prize award. So, and lastly, I think our work and our presence as an organization, it helps to kind of underscore a positive way forward with Indigenous and non-Indigenous folks working together on a complex problem in partnership, achieving some pretty great results together. That's a big piece of the puzzle of what we're doing as an organization. And all of that, of course, is happening from the village of Creemore, township of Clearview. And next slide, I think it's just my contact information. So I'm finished my presentation. I'm certainly open to any questions or comments from council.
Well, thank you very much, John. It is always remarkable to see the work that's being done to help those in the Indigenous communities that are having, water issues, as well as providing some employment opportunities for people from Indigenous communities to learn a skill that's very transferable. I mean, we make sure our water is safe all over the country, and I think it's very interesting that that this has been going on this long and has produced a great number of people who have those great skills. Congratulations on all that work, and also congratulations and thanks to Mr. Hinton for his wonderful contribution. He did certainly raise a lot of awareness for Water First and Creemore and Clearview Township right across the country. I did find it interesting, by the way, that the person who was being interviewed on CTV, they put their byline up saying is Water First North Bay. Okay. It was like, I'm not sure why. I think the person was in North Bay, but it was when they were actually doing the interview, but nevertheless, they should have thanks to our friends in North Bay nevertheless. So I just want to throw that out there for you. Members of council, do you have any questions to John about his presentation and his ask? Paul, who wants to start? Go right ahead.
I get say hi to John first. John, first of all, where is the build? What street are you on that you're building first?
Francis Street.
On Francis Street.
Yes.
Is that the old Creemore Vet building or which building is it?
Yes, the old vet building is now our head office.
Okay.
And beside the vet building was kind of a drive shed like thing that was taken down about 5
Yeah.
years ago. And it's that empty lot next door that's west of.
Okay, yeah, I know the property. I know the property well, and that's when you started saying that, it sort of tweaked a bell.
Yeah.
And so that Water First owns that property themselves right now?
Yes.
Okay. Couple other things. How many other local people are on the board? Would we know anybody else or just the people you introduced?
Yeah, there's a few other local folks. Ian Heaps is.
Ian, okay, Ian, yeah, I know Ian.
Out of Collingwood, yeah.
Everybody
He
knows Ian.
runs, Blundstone.
Blundstone.
Canada. Yeah, but that may be it in terms of local folk.
Okay. Do you collaborate at all with the Walkerton Clean Water Center at all?
A bit. We're certainly aware of one another and have talks and support one another where it applies, not in terms of like in-depth, very substantive partnerships, but yeah, we're in touch.
You're almost competitors, you'd like to say then for what you do?
Pardon me?
Would you call yourselves competitors then? Is that a better word?
No, I think we have quite distinct mandates because our focus is exclusively on Indigenous communities, and it's also the very uncrowded space that we occupy is supporting individuals with zero experience required to enter the field.
Okay.
And so that's quite a distinct thing that we do that appears to be like this very narrow niche. Whereas there are existing services that support existing operators. Folks who've already been in the field, they're trying to get from a level 2 to a level 3 or a level 1 to a level 2. But to bring someone in with zero experience, you know, they may be doing something completely unrelated in a career to water science, and helping them get their entry level certifications is quite unique about our approach.
It's interesting when we hear all the reports in the news about the state of water on I'll call it reservations and Indigenous communities. It sure helps when you can have when the systems are there and you just need operators to understand them and stuff. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Paul. Are there other members of council with any questions? No? Okay, let's talk about the specific ask, if I can, John. You're looking to look at our development charges. For clarity, development charges, of course, are used for a lot of things across our community to help us build our community. Many development charges are support fire department operations, libraries, recreation services. There's a lot of things that development charges are used for. The obvious ones that people see when they're doing a new home build is always about the sewer and water connections that's certainly a development charge. I would think that on this property that there's probably existing on those properties, like even though that building was torn down. Do you know if there's existing sewer and water capability on that?
We're seeking
site?
clarification on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. That's why I thought I'd see if you knew. But so those are the kind of things that we need to get clarified, exactly what the DC charges would be on the project that you're proposing.
Yes.
So I think, well, it's great to ask. And I think the other thing you'll find is working with the planning department and or the building department, they have, there's a brochure, Amy, there's a brochure, right? There's a brochure with the information. It's quite simple to just see the various things that you can do, like a green roof. For instance,
Yes.
You can do a green roof and that'll reduce your charges. You can do a gray water recycling internal to the building, which might be kind of neat for you to show that to your educational factors to do that. So there are some things that you can do as part of the build, which cost you money up front to do the build, but then take that money back by not having a development charge charged to you. So you get a discount. So that brochure, if you don't have a copy of it, I know that Amy can make it available to you even today before you leave. But that information is all available. So calculating the DC charges has to do with the total value of your project and square footage and everything. So as you move forward through the process, the staff will be able to give you a better idea as to exactly what that number is,
Yes.
right? And that's often when someone will come and ask us at council for any type of relief on any additionals. So what I'm going to propose through chatting with my clerk before the meeting a couple of days ago, we talked about this, that if council's amenable to this, we can put a resolution on the floor here to ask our staff to prepare a report that, about this and then return it back to council, and then council could consider it with actual factual numbers. I mean, just saying blanket development charges, it's difficult because we just don't have control of them. And for instance, the school board development charges, we have no control. They will charge them or not. Like, that's up to them. You'll have to make the same kind of deputation in front of the school board if you wish to have those reduced. So there will be DC fees that are part of applications. You just need to understand that we'd like to know as a council exactly what we're talking about. Does that make sense, John?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think this is a good process, and thank you for your presentation and your ask. It's worthy to make that ask. So if council's interested, we'll give you a notice without motion. How's that? I know the clerk doesn't like that, but it was her idea in the first place. So anyway, so I'm going to read a resolution and I'll look for a mover and seconder. Okay. Thank you, John, for your presentation. Council, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby direct the treasurer to bring a report back to a future meeting outlining the total amount of development charges that the Water First project potentially could seek an exemption or reduction from under section 3.12H of the Development Charges Bylaw 24-43. And that this report be provided to council once Water First has provided all the applicable information required to accurately calculate the development charges for the build. Is there any questions on that? Okay, is there a mover? Deneen, would you like to move that? Thank you very much. And Mr. MacArthur, would you like to move that? Thank you very much. John, I'll give you a point. Do you have any questions on why we're asking for this?
No.
You're understood?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, perfect. And to Kelly, you think you could work this out with the planning department in a timely fashion?
Yes, your worship, I will certainly do my best.
Of course you would. I know you would. With all the other 100 things that we have to do every morning, right? I get it. Council, there's nothing further. No other questions on that? I'd like to call the motion then. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, John, and congratulations on the great work that Water First is doing in our community. All right, Council, we're going to move on in our agenda. Let's see, where are we? There are no public meetings tonight. And so we do have the approval of the council meeting minutes, which is item number 7. And be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the minutes of the March 10th, 2025 council meeting as presented. Mr. Broderick, thank you. Seconder, Mr. Walker, thank you. And any questions on the minutes? Not seeing any. I'll call the motion. All in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Going into our correspondence section and information items, let's see. There's a media release from the NVCA, draft regulations mapping open for public consultation. That's an interesting one. Paul, would you like to speak to it, or do you want to speak to it later?
Thanks, Your Worship. I will talk a bit about it now. The NVCA is making a step forward in their mapping regulations, and they will be holding an open house on April 1st, 2025 from 5:30 to 8. And it's open for anybody in the public who wishes to find out more about the planning staff and the new process and stuff like that. I talked previously about the online applications and stuff, which tie in nicely to it. And everything, all the information is available on the NVCA's website. And I hope people who have questions attend. So
excellent. Thank you very much. All right, Council, if there's nothing further underneath those items, we will move right to our ward reports. If you may, Council, I would like to go first this time. How would that be? Okay.
Where's the arrows?
Yeah, the arrow's currently pointed towards Mr. Broderick, but I'm going to go first, and then we'll go to him. Madam Clerk, I would like to take a moment to welcome to our council chambers and to our Clearview community a new member of your staff. So you'd like to introduce your staff member and see what this person's going to be doing for us in the great township of Clearview.
Thank you, Your Worship. So yes, we do have a member at the table tonight. This was actually her first day at Shannon Pert. She's our new legislative coordinator for our committees and boards. So tons of our volunteers will get to know Shannon one-on-one as she starts to attend those meetings. But she came in this morning and she's like, I'm going to attend the council meeting tonight. And we're like, that's great. Come on. So yeah, she's here tonight to meet all of you.
Shannon, nice to have you with us, and welcome to the community. And I know that they found you a desk, so I think that's important. If anybody's been to our office recently, you can see that the desks kind of get filled up real quick, and so I'm happy to hear that they found you a desk. So Emma, why don't you get a shot of our new employee so that people at home can say they know who Shannon is. And I know you're going to be meeting an awful lot of volunteers across our community. And so you know that in Clearview Township, we appreciate volunteerism. So keep that up, okay? Welcome aboard, Shannon. She doesn't want to speak very much, does she? No. Okay, fair enough. Okay, no problem. We'll work it. That's all right. Good job. I have a couple other items that I'd like to bring up, if I can. First of all, an absolute pleasure and honor last Tuesday for me to attend with MPP Brian Saunderson, MP Terry Dowdle, as we and many others who attended, families who were there to help celebrate the King Charles III medals. I tell you what, the coronation medals are very special and very worthy. It was quite nice to be there and see two fantastic people in Clearview Township receive that. And I know that Raymond Hardesty, you all know Raymond Hardesty, what a great fella. The amount of fundraising effort that he does across our whole community and beyond. I know he walks around at the car show down in Wasaga Beach and does some collecting down there too, but he's definitely a Clearview guy, so we're happy that he's here. And also, I want to acknowledge a very special police officer who works in the OPP, Christine Deneen. She is a fabulous police officer who works with youth and children, and you know, she does so many things in the OPP. And she's also related to our counselor, Deneen. So it was a pleasure to be there, and I forwarded you pictures right during the ceremony, so it was kind of nice. So. But what a great thing, you know, the MP and the MPP had 25 people lined up, all had fantastic stories, but most of them were about mentoring people, mentoring youth, mentoring business, mentoring and helping people move forward in their communities. So I was very impressed with the, you know, you hear me always talk about volunteerism, but I tell you that the amazing work that all of these people have done, whether in financially supporting something or physically working and helping people in their communities, it was just a great event. And so we're thankful to, you know, His Majesty King Charles for making these medals and giving the opportunity for us to recognize those people in our community. So it was really nice. Another thing that happened on Wednesday, well, let's back up a bit. On Monday, last week, I received an email that came in, which I saw this email and I thought this is really unusual. It came from the Government of Ontario Office of Protocol. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant because I get a lot of emails from different government agencies, but the Office of Protocol sent me an email. So I opened it up. It was an invitation from Doug Ford for me to attend the inauguration and swearing in of the new cabinet. So on Wednesday morning, I was able to jump in the car and zip down to Toronto and attended the swearing in of the new cabinet. Fabulous event, very interesting, got steeped in history. The Great Seal of Ontario was passed over to a member. It was a very cool event. It was just really neat to be there, and there were mayors there from small communities like ours to large communities. I don't mind sharing with you though. It was interesting that we held this thing, of course, in Toronto, but the mayor of Toronto was not there. So there you go. Nevertheless, congratulations to the new cabinet. We look forward to working with them. And I met the new Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, who I think most of us have already met at a previous delegation. Rod Flack is our new Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, so it was kind of nice to see him. And the last thing I want to mention to you from the OPP desk, Councillor Beelan and I are on the OPP board, the board for the 3 municipalities. On Friday, I had the opportunity to meet Inspector Brooke McRoberts, and Inspector Brooke McRoberts is our new interim detachment commander. So I met her and with Mayor Brian Smith, so we had a nice conversation just to get to know each other. And she's going to be with us for about 6 months as the detachment commander for the Huronia West Detachment. So just wanted to share that with you. There's been a little change of command over there. So just wanted to share that. And that's all I have at this time. Although it's going to be a terrific week. We've got a lot of things on the go, including County Council tomorrow. That's been my report, and thank you for allowing me to go first. Mr. Broderick.
Thank you, Your Worship. March 11th, attended the Simcoe County Council. Also, March 11th, attended the Clearview Chamber of Commerce Executive Meeting. March 18th, attended the Clearview Library Board meeting. And also on the 18th, the Clearview Chamber of Commerce AGM, where we did actually pick up a couple more directors. March 20th, attended the Clearview Chamber of Commerce Business After 5 at the Olive Grove Wellness Center, just up the road a little bit here, around the corner and up the road. And tomorrow will be the Creemore BIA meeting. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on being reelected as the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Mr. MacArthur, how are you?
Very good, thank you, Your Worship. Short and sweet. On the 13th, Dunedin Hall had our annual general meeting in the fabulous little hall, and they had their basement all set up because on the 15th, then they had open mic for St. Patrick's Day celebration. One of the 3 that were going are supposed to happen in the community. And from what I hear in retrospect, that when the lights went out, that the generators just magically appeared and they carried on like it was never a thing. So, and then also on the 15th, that Station on the Green, St. Patty's Day party, AKA Dancing in the Dark, because there is no generator at Station on the Green. So unfortunately at the hour of 8 o'clock, we decided to halt the evening proceedings, although I understand the afternoon session was well attended and enjoyed by all. That's all I have.
Can't go wrong with St. Patrick's Day. Good times. Mr. Deputy Mayor, would you like to
Thank you.
update us?
Yeah, I was away a bit, but however, I did attend the our Hall of Fame meeting, a Culture and Sports Hall of Fame, and I just remind everybody that we are looking for the application, so please keep them coming. On this, and that was on the 14th. The 17th, we had an NVCA meeting. We're working through some of the executive situations right now, and as of tomorrow, we are going to County Council again to have some challenges in front of us. So we have our work cut out for your worship. Thank you.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much. Welcome back. Councillor Deneen, would you like to go next?
Thank you, Your Worship. The Duntroon Halls Green Beer Day was a great success. I understand that the power was out and we might have gotten a few people from down that way as well, but it was a great night. And I wanted to recognize some of our younger Nottawa residents. They won their hockey championship last Friday, and my family attended that, even though we had nobody there that we were related to. Clearview was really well represented at the game. There were quite a few of the players that attended Nottawa school. And I just wanted to mention that, yes, our family is extremely proud of Constable Deneen. And that's it for me. Thanks.
She's indeed a treasure. We appreciate her in the OPP for sure. Thank you very much. And Mr. Beelan.
Thank you, Your Worship. March 12th, I attended the Huronia West OVP Detachment Board special meeting where we talked about the detachment commander, and I look forward to meeting our new detachment commander. March 13th, the Brentwood Hall Board met and all is well there. March 14th, we had the Culture and Sports Hall of Fame meeting. Nominations are still open till the end of this month, March 31st. And lastly, I'd like to remind motorists that deer are on the move looking for new food.
That's right. Be careful. Councillor Walker, nice to see you.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Beelan, you should add, call me if you need help, right? That's what you should be saying on the bottom of that line. On March 11th, we had accessibility committee, and just some dates to look forward to is the May 26th to 31st is accessibility week. May 31st, we hope to be in the Creemore Market. June 5th, the Stainer Music Market and Parket, and June 7th, participating in Trail Tunes. On March 18th, we had the library board meeting. And also on the March 18th, I was honored to conduct the election of officers at the Clearview Chamber. And also just to note, the Stainer Siskins were eliminated by Aurelia this year. And hopefully, better luck next year. And, they're already looking for, coaches, and they're also already looking for, their ice, people to try out. The tryouts are already being booked for Wasaga Beach. So later on. So good luck, Siskins, for another year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walker. Thank you so much for that. All right, I think we've wrapped that up unless there's anything people have forgotten. Okay, we're going to move on. Council in our agenda. Turn the page to page 3. Start with Finance Department. We have a report here, FIN 006 2025. It's the 2024 Statement of Remuneration. And a resolution says, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report FIN 006 2025, the 2024 Statement of Remuneration dated March 24th, 2025 for information. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Mr. Broderick, thank you. Kelly, do you have anything you want to add?
No, thank you, Your Worship. I feel like we've already talked about this one.
Yes, I think we have.
I'm available if you have any questions.
All right. Again, just for clarity for the public's sake, the statement of remuneration is usually handed into somewhere around the March timeline, and it reflects the 2024 statement, so the year before. So this is something that happens about this time of year pretty well like clockwork. So thank you very much for that. Any questions, members of council? No questions. I'm prepared to call the motion. All in favor? All right, carries unanimous. Thank you. Okay, over to the Building and Planning Department. We've got a rather large report with a pretty detailed information on here. I will read the resolution, and we're going to have a few comments from our general manager of that department or director of that department, Amy. So it's a good resolution. Here we go. Recommendation, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PB 009-2025, the Stainer Secondary Plan. It is dated March the 24th, 2025. Item 1, that being consistent with Council's resolution dated September the 9th, 2024, and the title of that is Report CAO 007-2024, Boundary Expansion of Stainer Settlement Area. Council direct staff to initiate a Stainer secondary plan to allow for efficient and effective planning of municipal infrastructure through to the year 2071. Item number 2, that council endorse the proposed study area, which includes the GRO lands identified in Appendix B attached as report PB 009-2025. And that item number 3, that council direct staff to bring forward a report detailing the project plan, including the scope, timeline, anticipated costs, and deliverables for the Stainer secondary plan. That's the resolution. I want to just comment that this is the resolution that had the amended item underneath Appendix B that was added to the agenda. I mentioned it earlier in the meeting, so I want to make sure everybody's seeing and reading the same report. And just for clarity, that was a very small amendment, had to do with the maps, right, Amy? She's nodding her head. Thank you. So when the map is correct, it's now on the webpage. I'll look for a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. Mr. Walker, thank you very much. Is there a seconder from, okay, Mr. Beelan, thank you very much. Let's start with Amy. Amy, do you have anything you'd like to add to this? It's a pretty detailed report and kind of important.
Thank you, Your Worship. It is a detailed and important report indeed. So if you don't mind, I'll do sort of a high level breakdown of exactly what the report proposes and why.
Sure.
So the report essentially is to request council's approval to formally explore Stainer's growth potential through the preparation of a Stainer secondary plan. There is merit, as we found in investigating potential in Stainer for growth beyond the 2031 or 2051 planning horizon to 2071 for 3 specific reasons. The confirmed and potential additional yield of the Klondike Park Road, or KPR, well field to service Stainer with potable water. The residential wastewater treatment capacity planned for through agreement with the town of Wasaga Beach. And the third reason being the extent of developer interest in building Stainer to meet and exceed the 2031-2051 planning horizon. So as established in the new Clearview official plan, secondary plans establish a coherent and detailed concept for land use and infrastructure, including public service facilities, to provide more specific direction and guidance for development and articulate detailed objectives, principles, and policies. So taking that official plan policy and really narrowing in this case, the Stainer settlement area. So the report before you was crafted to lay out the policy framework and preliminary capital project implications to expanding Stainer development potential and plan for Stainer infrastructure to 2071. That feels like a really long time, far away, but infrastructure does require long-term planning given its expense and the fact that we need it to live our everyday lives. So to summarize the report in a few different notes, I will let you know that planning authorities must make decisions. So planning authorities such as yourselves must make decisions consistent with the provincial planning statement and must base population and employment growth forecasts on a prescribed and defensible source. Planning authorities must ensure that sufficient lands are available for the 15-year horizon, but may only plan for projected growth needs for a period of not more than 30 years, so to 2051. Hence, planning to 2071 requires a bit more thinking. Until Simcoe County, planning responsibilities are dissolved through regulation, the county remains the approval authority for township official plan amendments, and conformity with the county official plan is required of us. There is significant interest in developing Stainer up to and beyond its permitted planning horizon of 2031 or 2051. A Stainer secondary planning exercise will resolve the unknown or unconfirmed aspects of how to provide efficient and effective municipal services and roads to the extent of Stainer that we envision for 2071. A Stainer Master Servicing Plan, or MSP, is a product of the secondary plan exercise, and it will achieve infrastructure coordination, cost effectiveness, and regulatory compliance for the benefit of the municipality, its ratepayers, and developers. The 1 kilometer buffer to the existing Stainer urban settlement area, which is shown in the Township Official Plan Schedule A and is also appended to the report, represents a logical initial secondary planning study area so that we can kind of get an understanding of where we're going to look outside of the existing Stainer settlement area and sort of scope the exercise to that extent. So in summary, if council approves the recommendation to move forward with the Stainer secondary plan, the development team, so planning, building, public works, also in partnership with emergency services, et cetera, parks, and our relevant consultants will prepare a follow-up report detailing the process and a preliminary costing assessment. So this is very much a proposal for an exploratory exercise. We have no preconceived notions about how our pipes will run or what they will service, and that's exactly what we're looking to find out. So we're in your hands, council, and we're happy to answer any questions for you.
All right, thanks very much, Amy. There's a lot there, and we will, excuse me, we will get to some questions to you. I would like to go to the CAO. Mr. Ferguson's there. He's online, joining us online. Mr. Ferguson, do you have any comments about this report, given the, back when we received the first recommendation, you had quite a lot of good comments in there in regards to why we would even consider expanding our settlement areas. And I wondered if you could just reiterate some of those important features as to why we would do this at this time.
Thank you, Your Worship, members of council. Going back to that report, really the issue is about the economics of building infrastructure. Not all developers are in a situation to participate in the infrastructure costs. We saw how long it took to get to where we are today with our existing Klondike Park project. And so we want to make sure that we're planning our infrastructure in accordance with what we believe the future numbers will be. And to a certain extent, I think that on our analysis of the population numbers. They've been extrapolated from about 6 years ago, I believe. But I do believe that our population numbers are higher, and I want our municipality to be ready for that. I think this area near the Georgian Bay is an attraction for a lot of people, especially families that want to move here. And we'd like to be a part of that process as we make homes available for people in the future. So this is really about proper planning, but also the economics of building infrastructure. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's not easy to have partners involved and getting them involved. And so planning now for the future, I think, is a smart thing to do.
Thank you very much, John. Please stand by for any questions. And so between the CAO and Amy Can, perhaps members of council, do you have any questions you'd like to pose to this this decision? Yes, go ahead, Paul. Or no, is that Robert? Sorry.
Sure. Just
Okay.
looking at the map and reading the report and whatnot. So, of course, we pretty, as our boundaries in the proposal are creeping out into more and more agricultural land, which is, of course, a great concern to most of us. How, I guess, through the report, will you be directing which way we go, first, second, third phase type thing, or how are we going to approach that common denominator?
Amy?
Thank you, Councillor MacArthur. That's a great question, and through you, Your Worship. The provincial planning statement does require, it outlines a certain selection of tests that are required to be met to consider settlement boundary expansion, and among them is consideration of protection of agricultural lands, especially specialty crop. And that policy is implemented in the county and the local official plan as well. So that is something, a critical piece of what we will explore through the secondary planning exercise.
I think that if I can just jump in and ask a supplementary, Amy, if this process moves forward and we go to the county and then we go to the province, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there is a phasing. I think that they would just establish the new boundaries, and then the planning on how we move on those would be made internally here. Like they would just establish the boundary and that's it. Like they wouldn't give us boundary here until this date, boundary here till the next date. Yeah. So I just want to be clear that the ultimate ask here is just to get a new boundary so we know what it is, and then we can work for the next 30 years to get those properties serviced or brought within the serviceability of the township. Does that help? Is that correct, Amy?
Yes, Your Worship, if I understand you correctly. So depending on how long the exercise takes and the exact nuance and approval hierarchy of what is in place when we're finished, that'll sort of dictate what the outcome of the secondary planning exercise is, whether it's a full-on expansion of Stayner itself, or really setting out a growth reserve overlay in the amended official plan, or some other version, including phasing. There's lots of different ways this can look. And so I think the process will reveal the exact nuance of that.
All right. Thank you for that. Deputy Mayor.
Excuse me. Thank you, Worship. Yeah, Amy, appreciate that because it sure made it a little clearer. I was questioning when I looked at the map, the secondary planning area, it was sort of in and out. And I thought, okay, which kid was drawing this picture? But anyways, it is.
Sharpen your crayon.
Sharpen your crayon. Will there be a chance? I mean, obviously, we're talking number of years out. And obviously we are being pushed for development immediately, so to speak. Will applicants or people who own those lands, at what point will they be allowed to speak towards what we're thinking or what we're being proposed? What time can they participate?
Another great question, and through you, Your Worship. So the process itself, in terms of statutory process, will look just like an official plan amendment process in accordance with the Planning Act. And so we will work in accordance with those rules of the Planning Act, and at Council's wish to determine how we want to go above and beyond any, public meeting requirements or holding open houses or other types of consultation that we want to do. But certainly at a bare minimum, we will do the required you know, circulations, consultation with the public and our partner agencies in accordance with the Planning Act and any other aspects that council wishes to add to that.
Just a supplemental to that
Sure.
is, not to hold you on to this, what sort of timelines are we looking at for what's going on?
I don't know that yet.
That's part of the recommendation. We're asking to give us the timelines.
Yes, yeah. So we are keen to look into that and figure that out next. We wanted to sort of come to council to get some direction initially, and then we'll look into what the cost of this thing might be and a timeline. So.
All right. Thank you. Any other members? Nothing further? I'll just add too that to the timeline point, I said it a minute ago, about 30 years. You know, Clearview Township's 30 years old. I think it's 31 actually right now. But nevertheless, the properties that became the settlement area of Stayner were established in 1994. And all of the properties that are within, you know, that are developable lands, with the exception of a couple of smaller pieces, about 3 or 4 acres each, they all have plans on them. Like all of the planning has been done for the existing settlement area. And so I look at it kind of philosophically and think that we have to look to the future on how future councils and future staff will make decisions about where they move forward in the settlement area of Stayner. And as the CIO pointed out, there's no doubt there's huge interest in this region, whether it be, you know, in Wasaga Beach or Springwater Township or Blue Mountains and Collingwood. There's a lot of interest in building homes in this area. I think the point that we can also extend in part of this discussion is that while developers, we often think of them as building residential type operations, also bringing these lands in can bring commercial operation as well. There will be opportunities for commercial space in these lands. There'll be, you know, potentially even we could look at some lands to the west and think about even expanding our industrial park areas. So there are some opportunities there. And I look at Mr. MacArthur and think about your question about farmlands. And the reality is, if you know, if farming wants to continue to keep those lands and keep them up, the problem is the price just keeps rising on the cost of the land. And so at some point the farmer can't resist, right? And that's the sad reality of how farming is today, that they can't resist selling it to someone who's going to develop it, particularly when it's right adjacent to an urban area like Stayner. So it's an unfortunate reality. It's part of how growth happens. But we do want to be clear, we are still an agricultural community at this time. And as you know, agriculture is the #1 economic activity that happens in our township. So I think it should remain that way for many years to come. So anything further, Paul?
I just wanted to compliment our planning department because they are on a roll right now, having our water they work with. So
yes,
I guess when I asked Amy about the timeline, I know you guys are doing a great job and keep it rolling. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul, for that. All right, if there's nothing further, Mr. CAO, is there anything you want to conclude with? I know I didn't get any questions to you.
Your worship, no, I just want to thank Amy. They worked hard to put this together and to help us move towards the secondary plan.
All right, thank you. Members of council, nothing further. I have a motion in front of me with the mover and seconder. I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you very much. If I could ask the clerk, can you record that as being unanimous too? Thank you. I noticed that on the agenda or when I was looking at the minutes of the meetings, they just say carried, carried, carried. I think this one needs to say it, you know. Thank you. It's just an important one considering it's going to change things for the future. Delegated and other planning act approval summary. Okay, so we've got a little report here. Delegated approval background, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PB 010 2025, the Delegated and Other Planning Act approval summary for March 25th, dated March 24th, 2025 for information. Okay, can I get the mover and seconder for this item? Ms. Deneen, thank you. And Mr. Broderick, thank you. And do you have any comments? Amy?
Nothing specific to add, Your Worship. The Secretary Treasurer is also in attendance if there are any questions.
Excellent. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. If anybody has any questions? All right, seeing none, I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? And that carries unanimous. Thank you. Okie dokie. And looking ahead here, we are now at our Drinking Water Quality Management System Annual Management Review. So that means Stephanie should be coming on here any second. This is always an important piece, by the way, on what we do here. It's a simple recommendation, but it does have a very valuable report. Hi, Steph. Nice to see you. Council recommendation is, be it resolved that council receive report PW 005-2025, the Drinking Water Quality Management System Annual Management Review dated March the 24th, 2025 for information. Mr. Walker, thank you. Ms. Deneen, thank you. Hi, Steph, would you like to speak to anything on your report? It's a good report, as always.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Good evening, members of council. Yes, so I'm just pleased to present this report to you for our 2024 management review. This was conducted in accordance with provincial regulations and Clearview's operational plan for our water department. It helps to ensure that the continued safety, effectiveness, and sustainability of our drinking water systems. And as you see by the report, we discuss a variety of topics, anything from regulatory compliance, water quality monitoring, infrastructure needs, customer feedback, and risk management are all just a few little snippets that we cover. And it just kind of helps to show our commitment to providing the safe drinking water to our residents here in Clearview. So, and our continual improvement, of course, is always our goal. So this is one of those things that helps us work towards that as well. So I'm just here if there's any questions.
Why, thank you very much. All right. Council, our compliance officer is ready to take any questions. You got any questions? Members of council? No, Paul? Yes? Oh, Marty, go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm looking at Appendix C, way at the bottom where it says staff comments and suggestions, and it says need more staff. And then it says discussed management's objective to quantify metrics for when additional staff and resources are required. So I'm taking it, they're not needed now, the more staff. So I'm wondering, why is that put there, need more staff? Do we or do we not need more staff? And does that second sentence mean we don't right now, but we're gonna? And I realize we will once we have the Klondike Park thing on.
Stephanie, good question.
Sure. Yes.
How about just a point though, you know, it's good to see that the councilors are finding those little details in the reports. Appreciate that. Go ahead,
Yes.
Steph.
Okay, thank you through your worship. Yes, it's just one of those things that we're finding that definitely we're projecting that with the growth that's going to be happening very soon, that will be definitely be more need for additional staff. Obviously, there is another facility. There is also more development, so it also takes time for our operators as well. So, and I think Dan wants to jump in on this one too.
I saw his hand go up there too, but thank you, Steph. Hello, Dan. Would you like to comment on Marty's question?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. And Councillor Beelan's correct that this has been brought up a few times in my 6 years here, that there's a need for staff in both roads and water, and we are challenging our managers and supervisors to put the metrics around that. So if the metric is one water operator for every, I'll say 50 kilometers of water main, then that's what it is, right? So we're monitoring that for the amount of overtime our operators are getting. Same with our roads operators. So it's easy to say we need more water operators, but what is the metric on that? And that really will be put into work for this year. That's something I've committed to get a metric around that, not just for water operators, but our roads and sidewalks, et cetera, you name it. So I just wanted to add that that it's not just add an operator because we're getting a new water facility, but let's have a new operator because we have, 50 more customers or 150 more customers or, X amount of water main that they have to look after. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you very much, Dan. You good, Marty? Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Beelan. Was there another question? Yes, no further questions? Yes. Oh, hello, Councillor Deneen. Go ahead.
Hi there. Through your worship to Stephanie, I have some questions. I was kind of hoping you would have been here tonight, so I didn't have to ask them outright. But the sodium levels being reported to the health unit, that's a natural occurring thing. Does it happen when the ground's really saturated, or how does that happen? Like, do you have an idea of how that happens or why it happens?
Good question.
Sure, through you, your worship. Yes, some groundwater is just has higher mineral contents in it than other areas. So it's naturally occurring, and it's something that we monitor for. Of course, we are also monitoring to make sure that we're not seeing any trends in increasing of that that could be as a result of road salting or other activities. But what we see in our wells is a naturally occurring sodium in some of the systems. So it is there. It is something that that we have to report on every 5 years to the ministry as an adverse water quality event, because that's just what their regulations are for that. And then we report it to the health unit as well at the same time as with any other adverse water quality. But that is what we are seeing is very stable water sodium, like the sodium levels are in our water, but it's a naturally occurring. So.
Just one other thing I wanted to ask, are our wells, are they subject to the spring runoff, like being turbid, the water being turbid? Or no, they don't have any problem with that?
No, all of our wells are fairly, are deep wells and they're in confined aquifers. So we don't see any effects from surface water or those types of things on our wells as they're very secure water sources. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Deputy Mayor Van Staveren, I think you have a question.
Thank you. Yeah, I was waiting my turn a bit. Steph, can you talk a bit about the potential nonconformities? Pardon your file, page 9. The two things that was really a question: high consumption at Buckingham Woods is the big one that stands out to me. Is there something going on there? Are we getting all those new houses that were using more water? Or can you talk about that, please?
Sure. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the Buckingham Wood system, the new houses there are, as you we're all aware, are very nice, beautiful, large homes, and with nice big green yards. So we have found that definitely in the summertime, their water consumption is extremely high, especially in comparison to other areas of the township. They have the highest per household water usage across the township. So we only have like a couple of small wells there that service that system. So it's something that it's on our horizon that that they are a very large water user per household.
All right, so Steph, with that system, we're still using the original 2 wells from the Buckingham Woods subdivision, or have we utilized the well that's right on the town line as well?
Yes, thank you for the question. Through your worship, we are currently use one of the original well number 1 from the Buckingham Wood system and a well number 3, which is the new well that was constructed with the expansion of the Windrose Valley area of that water system. So those are the 2 wells that we use there.
So we are having enough water still at this time, but whether we have to put water restrictions in or something at a later date or drill a new well or something, that's yet to be seen. Good, thank you.
That's correct.
Water consumption. Thank you very much. Any other members of council with any questions? Okay, council, on this resolution, we have this report. I've read it with a mover and seconder, and I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? Thank you. There's a second motion and a second report also from our water system. And it says, be it resolved that council receive report PW 006 2025, the drinking water inspection reports dated March the 24th, 2025 for information. Can I get a mover and seconder? Mr. Broderick will move, Mr. MacArthur will second. And I don't think there's anything further. Do you want to add something on there, Steph?
No, I think it's pretty much speaks for itself. I'm really happy to say that we received 100% on all of the inspections again this year. And it's really it reflects the commitment on our water department team and all the operators that we have, and just shows their dedication to maintaining high operational standards and adherence to the regulations. So thank you.
Terrific. Any questions, members? Yes, Marty.
Thank you, Worship. When these are inspected, is this the government doing it or is this an auditor? I don't understand. I think it's the ministry, right, that does these inspections?
Yes, through your worship, they are Ministry of Environment Conservation and Parks. So from the province, they come out of the Barrie office, and they are drinking water inspectors.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on this report? All right. Seeing none, council, we have a mover and seconder on this report. I am prepared to call the motion. Those in favor? And that carries unanimous. Thank you very much. Hey, Steph, thanks for these great reports. As Councillor Deneen said, it would have been nice to have you here, but it's nice to see you there too. You have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council, we're going to move on to administration. We do have a report here from our HR manager. And lo and behold, this would be HR report 001. This is the recommendation. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report HR 001 2025 Corporate Health and Safety Policy dated March the 24th, 2025. Item 1, that Council approve the Corporate Health and Safety Policy attached as Appendix A to this report for 2025. Mover and seconder. Deneen, thank you. And Deputy Mayor this time. Thank you. Hey, Tammy.
Good evening, Your Worship.
Nice to see you've got report number 1.
I know.
I know you've been busy, but I'm glad to
Thank
see
you.
you're in there. That's good. What would you like to say about your report?
Thank you, Your Worship. And so the Human Resources Department reviews the corporate health and safety policy each year and compares it to any changes or legislative updates under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. And as officers of the corporation, we ask that you review the report as well to endorse our safe workplace and endorse the policy as it's written. So there weren't any changes this year, I should say. Just a change in format to update it to our new policy format that we're using internally.
Okay. Council, thank you very much, Tammy. Council, do you have any questions to Tammy? Okay. Just a quick suggestion. In the lobby out here, there's a little thing that says that we have a health and safety policy. I think it's out of date.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you've noticed because you've been walking by it like me 50 times a day.
Yes.
It's just so you know, we just got to update that.
Thank
Thank you
Your
very
Worship.
much. Members of council, if there's nothing further, I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? And it carries unanimous. Thank you. All right. We also have a report also from Tammy, who is representing the Accessibility Advisory Committee at this time. So let's read this. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report HR 002 2025, the Accessibility Advisory Committee recommended purchase dated March the 24th, 2025, and item 1, the council directs staff to purchase sidewalls and valance for use by the Clearview Accessibility Advisory Committee not to exceed $1,000 and to be funded from the Accessibility Capital Projects Reserve. Tammy, do you want to speak to that? And then perhaps we'll go to Councillor Walker, who's our member on there. Go ahead, Tammy.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. And so in January, the Clearview Accessibility Committee passed a motion to purchase some accessories for the tents that are used when they attend the Music Market and Market, as well as the Creemore Farmers Market, to help shield from the wind and things like that, but also to advertise the committee and the good work that they do. And so I just received the quotes today, unfortunately, so couldn't attach them to the report. With HST, it goes a little bit over the $1,000 that the committee is recommending. And I think Councillor Walker will be able to speak a little bit more clearly about that, but I'm happy to assist where you need.
All right, well, thanks for that update and the purpose for the purchase request. Mr. Walker, you're an able-bodied member of our committee.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Yes, first of all, we talked about purchasing our own tent, and then we're realizing that to spend the cost of a tent versus 3 or 4 times to be used during the year, that it was better off to spend our money with a back panel that would advertise the Clearview Accessibility Committee, and then 2 side panels to be utilized if we're into some windy, crazy conditions, and a valance to go across the top. Seeing the report that was sent out to us this afternoon, with 2 options to purchase the top and replace the top, I cannot see a committee taking one of the tents and spending time to remove the existing top, to put a top on with our logo along the valances, and then at the end of the night or the end of the event, take that off and put the other top back on. So I can't see that myself. And as far as the valance is concerned, they're talking the supplier, I appreciate his comments that the valance would be maybe a difficult thing to hang on to or clip to the existing valance on those tents. So the motion, I believe, is okay. It's not to exceed $1,000, and I think we need to leave it at that. I see us as a committee moving forward with the sidewalls, the back wall and the 2 sidewalls at this point in time. Let the committee decide then if they wish to proceed with a top separately, or if they, and the valance, because now the supplier has given us some direction as to potential problems hooking the valance to the existing tent. We have our already portable signs that we could utilize out front anyways. So to me, if we do back wall and sidewalls and those signs out front on the corners of the tent, that I think that would give us the exposure that we need at the various events that we're into, which is basically about 4 events or so throughout the year. So I think we just leave this as is for the $1,000, and we will make it work. Thank you.
All right, can I just ask a question then? Would you want us to remove the word valance from the motion? Because as it reads, the staff would then be directed to get sidewalls and a valance.
Yeah, I think maybe we should remove the valance off of that motion, and then to me, that would just be a friendly, I think, to remove that off.
We can consider it a friendly between
Yes,
mover and seconder.
and then that way it's the sidewalls and the back wall would be. Yeah.
With your explanation, I appreciate that. I would suggest that if there's a concern at your committee, you could, alert us right away and bring it back, and we can amend it again if necessary, or make it a second motion. Is that okay?
Yep, thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, you could amend that underneath a friendly amendment. Thanks, Councillor Walker, and thanks for you and your volunteers that serve on this committee with all the work you do. We have a question from Paul. Yes.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Walker, I like the idea of just buying the back wall and the sidewalls. I think that's a great compromise. I'd be a little concerned that we're going to open up a can of worms that other people will want to use it. Would you have a problem with that? Or will it be specific to your committee?
The back panel will be, have Clearview accessibility on the back panel.
Okay.
And then the side panels are just going to be a clear potential windbreak that you could hang if you need it. That's all. They're plain.
I would almost suggest that we look into potentially buying 1 or 2 that just have the Clearview logo on the back, because there are events where our staff has to go to and they're freezing. It'd be kind of nice. We maybe research it at the same time. So I just add that to it and throw that back at it, but as not so much as an advisory issue, but just a generic issue because we have quite a few tents already.
Yes,
so
Yeah. Okay. I see your point. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Makes no change to the motion, but a good recommendation for staff to consider that. All right. All right. Is there any other questions? Any other comments from our representatives? No. Members of council, we've got a mover and seconder on a motion. I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. Well done. Thank you very much. Okay. And, CAO 004, the review of non-union staff compensation pay equity and council remuneration. Okay, we've got a report here from the CAO. And be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report CAO 004, 2025, the review of the non-union staff compensation pay equity and council remuneration dated March 24th, 2025 for information. All right, Deputy Mayor, can you move that? Can I look for a seconder on that side of the room? Mr. Walker, thank you very much. John, hi, you're back. Nice to see you. Have you got anything you want to add to the comments in the report?
Your worship, the report is self-explanatory. I will add that the compensation review that was done, I think it started in 2022, the previous one. I think it was felt at that time that it probably should have been sooner. Part of the experiences that we've had here at Clearview Township is that we've had a significant turnover in staff. I think in the last 2 years, Tammy, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's around 72 people. And a part of it is a lot of municipalities are facing this issue as it relates to compensation, is that we sometimes are losing candidates because we're not paying enough. And they'll go to another municipality. And a lot of the municipalities in this area, I think, are experiencing that. So at the end of the day, we just want to keep pace with what we think is the comparators, which Marianne Love will work through for us. And she'll have this ready towards the end of 2025 for council to consider. And so we thought it, based on the 2022 report, it was suggested that we come back for a study within 2 years. And so that's why it's on the council agenda.
All right, thank you very much for that. And Marianne Love, who has been our contracted person to do this type of review, is extensive experience and very unique to her skill set to find these equitable pay reviews. So we appreciate the work that she does, and we'll look forward to this report. Members of council, do you have any questions about this report? No? All right, just for clarity in regards to the council remuneration, as council knows, we generally look at this somewhere in the later part of the term, and it always will apply for the next term of council. That'll be the resultant change on the motion, if any changes are coming. So I just want to put that on the floor so we all know that that is where that's going. Nothing further? Tammy, do you have anything you want to add? No, you're comfortable with working with Marianne once again?
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, absolutely. She is an expert in her field. She works with many municipalities and has been a part of our compensation review process from the beginning in 2012. And so her experience and knowing our processes and creating our process and the job evaluations that are ongoing as we create new positions and update positions, that knowledge and that experience is very helpful during this process as well.
Okay, well done. All right, thank you, Tammy. Thank you, John. Members of council, we have a motion in front of us with no further questions. I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That carries unanimous again. Thank you. All right, council, we're going to move to our bylaws. We've got a few bylaws tonight. It's funny, last meeting we didn't have any, so tonight we've got several. All right, the first bylaw is the appointment bylaw, bylaw 22-101. Be it resolved that bylaw 2519, being a bylaw to amend Schedule A of bylaw 22-101, appointing members to the Township of Clearview committees and boards, be presented and read a first, second, and third time finally passed, 24th day of March 2025. Mover and seconder, Ms. Deneen, thank you. Seconded by Mr. Beelan, thank you. Council, any questions on the bylaw? Seeing none. All those in favor? In favor, bylaw carries. Thank you. Fence and pool enclosure bylaw. Be it resolved, bylaw 2520, being a bylaw to provide uniform standards for the construction of fences and pool enclosures within the Township of Clearview. Be presented and read a first, second, and third time finally passed on the 24th day of March 2025. I have that moved by Mr. Broderick and Mr. MacArthur. Thank you. And any questions? Seeing none, I'm prepared to call all in favor. All in favor. There we are. Thank you. Bylaw also carries. Council, this is the amend procedure bylaw 2471, specifically about public participation period. Recommendation, be it resolved that bylaw 2521, being a bylaw to amend the township procedure bylaw 2471 to update the rules governing public participation period, be presented and read a first, second, and third time and finally passed on the 24th day of March 2025. Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Mr. Walker. Thank you. Council, you've got the bylaw? Yes, is that a question?
Not a question, more a statement.
Okay.
With a little help a little earlier, this issue about public participation period and being reporting things and that sort of thing. I mentioned to you about Clearview. We talked about
Yep.
Clearview.ca before the meeting. Go to Clearview.ca if you have any problems. It's a report a problem, service request is what you're going to Google, report a problem, service request, and you will get a whole page of items that you can report and how to go about doing it. So this will alleviate a lot of that.
Thank you for that. That's great. Yes, that's on our website. It's been there for a while. Thank you very much. Council, if there's nothing further, I'm prepared to call it. All those in favor? That's unanimous. The bylaw carries unanimous. Moving on. Bylaw 2521, Municipal Alcohol Risk Management Policy. We had a good discussion about this last time. Be it resolved that bylaw 2522, being a bylaw to establish a municipal alcohol risk management policy for township facilities and repeal bylaw 12-06, be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the 24th day of March 2025. Moved by Deneen, thank you. Seconded by, go with Mr. Broderick, thank you. And any comments or questions on this one? It was, like I said, a good discussion. All right, council, you've heard the bylaw. All those in favor? And that carries unanimous as well. Thank you very much. All right, council, item 12 is notice of motion or new business. Anybody get any new business? No, there's no new notices on here today. Okay, we're going to go confirmatory bylaw. Recommendation, be it resolved, bylaw 2523, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the March 24, 2025 council meeting, be presented or read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the 24th day of March 2025. Mr. Walker, thank you. Mr. MacArthur, thank you. And all those in favor? Confirmatory bylaw. All right. Sitting all by itself over here on page 6 is our motion to adjourn. There's nothing else for the business of the township for tonight. Time check, 7:02. 7:02 p.m. Be it resolved, the council meeting be adjourned at 7:02 p.m. Deneen, thank you. Mr. Beelan, thank you. All those in favor? That carries unanimous. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Pray that spring has arrived.